It's hard to believe that doctors began speculating that I might have lung cancer about 7 years ago, almost now, back in 2019. And I was thinking that it's been a long journey, even though it seems like it's been so short. I remember having to go for my first appointment, and I didn't think that I had cancer at the time, so I wasn't worried. I wasn't concerned about anything. And even when the doctor was saying that I had cancer, I was saying, no, there's no way that I have cancer. They have it wrong. I have something on my chest that's always been there. It's an artifact. But turns out it was not an artifact. It has not always been there. It's something that came into my body whenever it felt like it and decided that it needed to cause me some harm. And I think that is what cancer does. It comes in and it tries to take over your life and it tries to cause you harm. But even when you are given a cancer diagnosis, you have to maintain having hope and just remembering that God is in control of every situation. So, my name is Donnie, and I started this journey in 2019. My first cancer diagnosis or surgery was on March of 2020, and my second cancer surgery was in March of 2025. So, I've gone through one whole year since my last surgery, and now it's time for scans again. I go for my CT scan coming up real soon, and people say that you get scan anxiety when you have to do scans, and it's very true. I do get scan anxiety, and it's because you don't know what the doctor's going to say. If they're going to say that you have cancer again. Before, I used to look forward to my cancer scans because in 2020 I was having scans every 3 months, and every time I went, they say, you're all clear. All right, see you next time. And so I got used to hearing, you're all clear, you're all clear. They changed the scans to 6 months. You're all clear, see you next time. So finally, we had gone to 1 year scans. And I was like, okay, I'll take my mom with me. So I took her and I said, okay, mommy, we're just going to go in here and it'll be short. The doctor's going to come in and say, you're all clear. See you next time. Well, when the doctor came in, he said, it looks like we found something, and we're going to need to begin doing some testing. So we made a plan to get my bronchoscopy done for the suspected cancer reoccurrence. And little did I know, but sometimes the bronchoscopy does not detect the cancer, because they can go down there with a plan to get the right tissue, but they went down and they got the wrong tissue. And so I'm thinking to myself, okay, see, I said I didn't have cancer. I don't have cancer. So we made a plan to get a PET scan. And that PET scan did not light up. See, I told you I don't have cancer. And so the doctor decided that he wanted to do diagnostic surgery. Now, he didn't tell me that he wanted to do diagnostic surgery. He just said that, I believe you may have cancer. We're going to go ahead and get this surgery done. And I'm thinking to myself, once you remove my lung or one lung lobe, you can't put it back in if it didn't actually have cancer in it. What are you talking about? So I was not on board with having this surgery, in addition to the fact that I'm a full-time caretaker. And I did not have anyone who could replace me at that time. And they did not want to hear that. They're just like, okay, well, we scheduled you for surgery. I just told you I cannot have this surgery. So on top of sitting up here dealing with the doctor telling me that I have to have this surgery and I can't undo the appointment, and his office not allowing me to undo the appointment, and the surgery center not allowing me to undo the appointment, I had someone else telling me, well, you just need to change doctors. You need to change hospitals. And I said, well, since they won't let me out of this surgery, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to change doctors and hospitals. And then that way, I'll be out of this surgery. So I did that. And I went to this doctor, and he was so nice, and he took all this time speaking with me. We spoke for at least an hour, and I was like, wow, I've never had anyone just talk to me and ask me if I had any questions and then thoroughly explain all the questions. But he was a surgeon, and his intent is still to do surgery because that is the first course of action when you have a stage 1 cancer. Now, what was showing up on my CT scan were 2 lung nodules in my right lower lobe. I had already had surgery on my left upper lobe when there was a nodule there, and that whole lobe was removed. And so the doctor said, well, okay, because you have 2 nodules this time, it looks like it is possibly multifocal cancer, wherein it comes with more than 1 nodule at a time. And what we need to do is find out if it is metachronous or synchronous. And these are words I had never heard. I don't really even know what they mean to this day. But he said, okay, well, it looks like this cancer is going to always come back. And when it comes back, what we'll do is we'll just hit it with some radiation. And I said, oh, okay, yes, I've heard of SBRT. One of my friends was talking about it. Is that an option for me? He said, we'll always make sure that we do the best option for you. I will do for you what I would do for myself if I were the one facing lung cancer. And that hit home. because with my other doctor, I asked him if I were his daughter, what would he do for me? And basically, he did for me what he would do for his daughter. He tried to save my life. And even though I trusted him, maybe I should have had a little bit more trust, because he's been doing this for a long time. Me as a patient, I was new to the game, and I didn't understand that he's seen cancer so often and so much that he actually already knew that yes, there's really cancer in your body. It's nothing I can really say to you to convince you that it's there, but I want to get it out of you before it gets worse. And he was a really good doctor. And I liked his team. And I do want to say that because a lot of times it may seem like I'm negative about things. I'm not negative about things. I'm just nervous about different things. And where's my faith when I get nervous? Well, my faith is still there. I'm nervous, but I'm human. And so as humans, we do think about things and whether or not they're going to affect us in this way or that way. So the other doctor went on and his team was able to find the cancer, and I was shocked but happy that they were able to find the cancer. And they made the plans for me to be able to have the surgery. And we were going to have it in January. But in January, I was exposed to COVID, so I couldn't have it in January. After I had gotten in my gown and everything, they ultimately decided, okay, you go home, you get better, and we'll reschedule this surgery. Because I couldn't understand why the first doctor felt like it was a fire, you know, and I needed to hurry and get this surgery done. This other doctor, he realized that I still had a little wiggle room, and he went on and scheduled that surgery for March. So it went from me actually trying to have the surgery initially scheduled by my doctor in June of 2024 to me finally ending up having the surgery in March of 2025. And the only thing that I feel like it did that was not a service to me was actually trying to file for disability. If you are over a certain amount of time as far as your surgeries go, they don't consider that the same time field. They want you to have that cancer resolved within 2 years of the original cancer for it to be considered something that was advanced enough to require disability. Now, even though that was one of the issues as far as time limits go, my bigger issue and concern with that is the fact that not only do I have cancer, but I have severe asthma. And so even now, while I'm making this video, I'm wheezing while I'm making the video. And there have been so many things that are coming up. I've had bilateral rib pain. I've had pain in my spine and the lower spine. And these are the things that make you have that scan anxiety or scanxiety. So usually I would go to the support group and say, hey, can you guys put up a prayer for me? About to go have these scans done. And I still may, I don't know. But going to face these scans again is always scary, because when you're feeling these pains that could be lung cancer that has metastasized to your bones. I've had these headaches and memory loss, and you're thinking maybe it's metastasized to my brain. You go in there and you're thinking the worst, but you're hoping for the best. And when you hear that you have cancer again, it is discouraging. And I think that that is why we are so anxious about having scans. So, I don't know. As time goes on, I'm not sure if it gets any easier. I hope that it does. I've had friends that are in stage 4, and they're, like I said, 11 years, 18 years out from having cancer that has not reoccurred. And at stage 1, I would like to be happy about the fact that my cancer has not reoccurred. So I'm asking that if you pray, please stand in prayer with me as I go to get these scans done, that my cancer has not come back, has not metastasized, and that I am still doing well and will continue on as, hopefully coming up soon, a 7-year survivor of lung cancer. That would be absolutely amazing for me. And I'm glad that I have you guys along for the journey, because you guys are also a source of support for me. Thank you so much for listening to my story, and I hope that something resonated with you. If it did, please leave a comment or subscribe, and I hope that I'll see you again in the next video. Always remember, you are special and you are worth it. Thank you for blessing me with your presence, and God bless you. Until next time.